why Meet the Others podcast. What's this about?
Why are we doing this thing?
Why are we doing this dang thing?
Who the F?
Do we even know what we're doing?
Certainly not.
Oh,
We
no.
just hooked this thing up tonight. We figured out how to use the mics, and now we're recording 10 seconds afterwards. Gives
Word
me
up.
comfort. So
I hear you.
yeah. So anyways, Meet the Others. That's us.
Still waiting on this car to come and take me home. Things feel a little different now that we grown. Till I turn the ass, so they put my name in stone. Live how I wanna live, cause we die alone.
Hey,
Yo,
what's poppin', everybody?
welcome to Meet the Others podcast. I'm Anissa B.
And I am Choirboy Dank.
Welcome, guys. If this is your first time joining, we are a podcast of entrepreneurs, creators, and parents, and just humans trying to create and trying to move through life.
We the others. Welcome to the family, the Other World family. If you're watching, we consider you one of our own.
Yes.
So what you got? What you got over there?
What's in the cup, huh? What's in the cup? Okay. So I have iced coffee from the supermarket.
It looks like it's in a Starbucks cup though.
Bro, I figured out the hack. You can drink iced coffee, at least have 2 days worth of iced coffee for $5.98. 2 cups of coffee each, bro.
Venti. Whatever they call it.
And guess what, my friends? It's Starbucks coffee.
Yo.
Ayo. Exactly. So cheers on that.
Nah, it's good. It's actually like pretty damn solid from the old supermarket.
Right? Shoot. I was kind of tired of spending $10 a cup of coffee for one person. So like, yeah, trying to be economically smarter, brighter these days.
Like a
Yeah.
light bulb.
Like a light bulb. Shine bright like a diamond. I hate that song. I can't. I'm so sorry, Riri.
Wow.
Mm.
Why? Why don't you like that song?
I don't know. It's just a dumb song to me. It's just, ugh.
Wow.
I mean, it's one of the best songs ever, but like, I just shine bright like a diamond. I don't
I think you hate it because it's so catchy it gets burned into your brain.
That's probably exactly the reason. It's like, no, it's like Umbrella Ella.
Now
A.
see,
Oh,
that's different because it makes no sense. Well, I don't know. I'm not gonna get into that one. I don't like that song either.
why? Because
But-
that one gets stuck
but-
in your brain, huh?
I don't think as much, really. You know, I mean, Rihanna's got some bangers, but I would much rather listen to Shine Bright Like a Diamond than Umbrella Ella A. Even though Jay-Z has
That's what it
has
is.
that verse on it, but
Yes, I think that's probably why I love that song too.
the Rain Man Back.
Yes, Rain Man Back is. Yeah,
there you go.
I can't.
That was it. I think you nailed that.
Yo, who wants to go to karaoke with me and be my partner?
Yeah. I don't really hear it. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yo.
Yo.
Yeah. You know, she's got some bangers. I just don't know if those are the standout ones.
Do you not like the sound of it, or just like the words, or what would you say that kind of like makes you walk away with?
I don't know. Maybe it's just the time and when it came out, and I wasn't open to Rihanna yet. I think that.
Oh, okay.
I think that may be it more than anything, because I think that her first couple songs, I was really not sold on the whole Rihanna package.
I gotcha.
Yet.
I gotcha.
Um,
Were you living in New York at that time, or?
yeah, I
Oh,
was.
shoot.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. That I was actually working at Diddy's house.
Oh shoot. Well, guys.
around that time.
Well, guys, since I kind of want to know a little bit more about that. You know, I wanted to come on here and ask you a few questions, poke a few holes.
Poke some hoes.
No, that sounds really
Whoa.
bad.
I didn't know that it was going to be that type of podcast.
Well, I just feel like we owe our listeners and our viewers a little bit more about ourselves
A little
and
more background
a little
info.
background, because some people don't know what Choirboy Dank actually does and what he's about. And it would be cool, especially for new listeners and viewers.
Yeah, no, I think that would be dope to kind of shine a little bit of light on the how we got here.
How we got here.
Yeah. So, yeah. I don't know. Choirboy Dank has some humble beginnings in a small town in Dodge City, Kansas, right?
Oh, shoot.
And then, I just, came from watching Smack DVDs as a high schooler.
What's
And
Smack DVDs?
you don't know what Smack DVDs
I don't know what
is?
Smack DVDs are.
Oh, man. Man, you call yourself a New Yorker. You know, Smacks. Smack. They had so I don't know. There was a time when I was just a youngster that DVDs and the music industry was really kind of like a big deal. It's kind of like when 50 Cent was kind of coming out. He was one of the first guys to really have, like, he put out his album and a mixtape series and put out a DVD with a bunch of videos and kind of like stuff like that.
Oh, shoot.
Along with it. And but that's not Smack though. But there was a time where the DVD, at least for a guy with no real culture in the like no connection to that, with MTV wasn't really covering that type of thing.
Right.
The mixtape era, it had like ciphers on it. That was the Smack DVD era. It was a bunch of like back and forth, like Jay Mills and like people like what's his name? Just all the old school guys would get on these ciphers, they'd be on like 145th or whatever on the corner going back and forth. Or there was one episode with like Castro and Jay Mills in front of Puff Daddy's studio, and there was a big old rap battle, and it was just a series of DVDs that kind of like highlighted that battle rap culture before it turned into URL and all these different things. So
okay. So like, cause I've never heard of Smack DVDs, and maybe that's just like way before my era. And maybe I didn't focus on music as much. Like I loved music, but I wasn't probably as like dialed in as you are to music.
Yeah. I mean, when I just kind of got out of high school, I was like laser focused on, New York was the spot to go to really, I was a big Beastie Boys fan.
Hey.
They're from New York,
Whoop, whoop.
And just the whole hip hop scene, everything came from New York. So it was like, That's the Mecca. So like, you gotta go to the source. So they had all those DVDs, and when I would go to those, those little mixtape spots.
Yes, I do know that.
They'd like just be like a little sliver hole in the wall, and there'd be like tons of mixtapes.
Yes.
And you could get all the different mixtapes, Green Lantern, DJ Vlad before he was a video guy, interviewer, and all those guys. And they would have DVDs there too. So you could get like 5 DVDs for $20 or whatever, or five mixtapes for $20, and like 2 DVDs for $20 or whatever. And I don't know, that was like a certain era. So yeah, Smack DVDs, big deal. And yeah, I don't know. So, well, I guess that was a little tangent or whatever, but yeah, that it sucks because that culture is really gone at this point.
I know.
It turned into something else, which, the mixtape era is
kind of over, right?
It's kind of over. I think I don't know, whoever it is, the powers that be didn't like that whole scene, which I don't know if you know, DJ Drama caught a lot of that backlash. He was one of the bigger DJs in the later side of that era, and he really, did the Gangster Grills mixtapes. I don't know if you're aware of that, but they did a whole FBI raid in his house.
Why?
Because he was a mixtape DJ and it was against the copyright.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So they raided his whole thing and took him to court, and he was like a big scapegoat for a lot of that stuff.
Right.
So yeah, that got stomped out, and now everybody just does more copyright friendly versions of that stuff.
Gotta save an ass.
Yeah. So
our ass.
the major labels are not, running up in people's houses anymore because of that. So,
but like, what would you say? Like, would you say that like you kind of like there was a lot of music installed in your house, and like you just came from this music background, or is this something that was like self-taught, or like you were just really inspired by Beastie Boys, by these mixtapes, by like?
It's hard to say, really. I know that. Well, when I was growing up, I was, which is part of kind of like what my name comes from. I was deep in the church. My family's a very religious family.
Yes.
And I was in the choir in church. I sang solo songs during Sunday service or whatever. Mm-hmm. And that side of the music was definitely very installed in me. And whenever I was inspired by a lot of that stuff, but I was also very, very inspired by people like the Beastie Boys, Run DMC, and that old school stuff. And my era was like after that. But that stuff, I don't know, to some degree just spoke to me. Like, those guys were like on tour, like they did, I think it was like the original Family Values tour or whatever, and they had like 311, Beastie Boys, and that just was so cool. So then I looked back into that deal, and it was like Run DMC and those guys, and even like Slick Rick. I was a huge Slick Rick fan.
Yes, I like him. Is that the guy with the nose?
No, you're thinking of Humpty Hump.
Humpty Hump.
Humpty Dump. Yeah, that's Digital Underground.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
so like what in like obviously you were intrigued by that hip hop era. Was that in Dodge City, Kansas? Would you say that was popping?
Not
was
at
that
all.
Something nothing? Was
Not
it on
at
the
all.
music? Was it on the radio?
No.
Nothing.
Not on the radio.
So how were you able to like obtain this and like and decide?
It's like, I don't know, like back in the like
bootlegging over here, this guy.
Like LimeWire and stuff like that. Like I remember, this is even like during like the raucous days where Eminem and like Mos Def and like the Backpacker stuff. I would download all of that stuff and like burn it to CD, and that was like, so that's how I got all of that stuff,
Oh, wow.
Which I guess there was a decent amount of kids in my school that like, that was like, there was like my little group, like we were all kind of like
the little hood boogers
searching that stuff out. Like I remember even like there was a local little CD store that was called Hastings. That's now gone or whatever. That you would go and you'd read the magazines about all of that stuff.
Oh, yes.
And I mean, even to this day, I even remember like when Eminem first came out, it was like, there's this white guy.
Oh, shoot. On my level.
And he's rapping. Oh my God, it's so crazy. Like, let's go get the CD or whatever. And that's kind of like, I don't know. I mean, that and like NWA. And there was a point in time where little Choirboy was in church in my family, and my parents found all of that music.
Uh-oh.
And
No.
those things were literally thrown out of the car.
Shoo.
So,
Tough crowd.
So it was like which in a weird way, you know, when you're growing up, it's almost like, oh,
That shit is devastating.
no, it's almost not, well, it was devastating, but it's almost like, ooh, that's the hot butt. Like, that's what I need now, even more.
Now I need to find more of this.
Yeah,
I'm gonna get more, and I'm gonna hide it better.
I'm gonna rebel even more, and you know,
Where are those baggy jeans at?
dig even deeper. You know, so I don't know. That's just kind of how the mind works, I guess, in some ways. So
Right.
yeah.
So like, let's rewind a little bit. Like, what? So obviously, you went to New York because like we met. I'm from New York. So like,
Yeah.
when did you decide, you know, it's time for me to like expand and create music and stuff? Like what made you Choirboy Dank? Like what
Well, I
made
always
that happen?
Well, you know, funny enough, even though my parents were throwing my CDs out and all this stuff, there was a point, even when I was like, I think I was like, I don't know, 12, 13, when I was like, all I want for Christmas is turntables. That's all I want.
Oh.
And I got some turntables, and that really started it. Cause I thought that, I mean, when I was younger, I was under the impression that, you know, if you want to be a producer, if you want to make music, you know, looking at the Run DMCs and that, and the Beastie Boys, I'm like, you have to be a DJ to make this music.
I could see that.
So that, you know, speaking from my limited small town, you know, I didn't really understand the drum machines and all of that stuff yet. So it was like, that's what I need to do. So I did that and was always kind of on them turntables and doing that type of thing. And then I went to college for a year and was like, this is not the move. And
it was just
like, I'm gonna get a job and get a tie and
I'm gonna get a tie. I don't want a tie. I don't want
to live in the tie world. So
am I gonna have to get a very proper haircut too?
Yeah. So I'm like, I'm moving. I'm going to New York and I'm gonna pursue this music thing, and went to school there.
And you went to school for
audio engineering.
Nice. And finished.
Yep. Graduated.
It lit you up. Would you say that lit you up as
well, it made me feel like, yo, I know what I'm doing.
Facts.
Like, okay. I know what I'm doing. And I took that little bit of knowledge and knocked on every door that would open for me. One of those being Daddy's house, which is where Bad Boy Recordings are.
Nice.
Which is where, you know, Notorious B.I.G. recorded his music, where I met people like D. Angeletti, which is the mad rapper. I don't know if you know about him. Yo, son.
Yes.
I got that John Blaze. That you know
yes.
Which is a legend. You know, he worked with people like Kanye West and basically everybody, and went through the ropes through that way, and kind of then had my own little studio in the Bronx.
Nice.
And
BX.
Right. It was South Bronx.
Oh shoot. Dangerous at that time.
It was
for sure.
I mean, it was
like shooting, by Gun Hill and stuff.
Right by no, not by Gun Hill. Gun Hill's a little higher up. It was right over the Harlem Bridge. It was like 133rd.
Oh shoot.
There, you know, I recorded French Montana there.
Nice.
And you know, different people. Yeah, Billy Bathgate, which had some little success. Even people like Lady Luck, which is like, these are like underground kind of like
upcomers,
people in the scene or whatever. And I did my own little mixtapes. I got back into the turntables.
Oh shoot! Like he was like,
put those together. So yeah, that's kind of where I got cut my teeth or whatever, what you'd say.
Would you, like, for anyone listening, would you say, like, for anyone listening, like, from being a small town boy, right?
Small town, yeah.
Small town boy. Remember that song? But
no,
we're not gonna talk about that. Anyways, So from being like a small town boy and then going into New York City and all that stuff and being able to like reach the like even to knock on that door and that door open at Diddy's house, like would you say like what got you there? Like what was it for was it hunger, would you say, or like consistency? Like what would you say got you into that position?
Well, I would say honestly, a lot of it is hunger, consistency, and delusion. Thinking that I could take over the whole space.
Right.
You know,
ain't nothing wrong with that. Though.
No, there's not. I mean, that's what pushes you forward. And really like that was it for me. I was like, oh, you know, these people are people.
Yeah.
And, you know, which is real, you know, I mean, all of those people are dope and talented, but they have that same thing.
Yes.
They have that consistency, hunger and delusion that says, I can make #1 hit records.
Right.
And, you know, there's a lot of amazing people that I worked with and around. And, you know, it's just about being next to people and, you know, knowing like, yo, I got something to add to this room too.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And when would you say that you started to transition from actually creating music, engineering your music, and then becoming like moving out of that, more of an artist, rapping and writing your own music? Like, what would you say, like, when did that transition happen? Like, when were you like, you know what? I kind of don't want to just be behind the scenes guy, because funny enough, on the making of the band, was it?
Yeah.
I saw you on TV.
Yeah, and it's funny, you can't try to look up those episodes. You can't find those episodes anywhere. They don't exist on YouTube or anywhere. So yeah, I was part of the second making of the band, not the first one.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, I will say that like I paused, like it was when like DVR first started and I had DVR, and I paused and I saw this like dread-headed light-skinned brother. I thought he was a brother. I was like, damn, he's got blue eyes. I was like, how is that even possible? Like, this is rare, you know? I remember seeing you on there, and like, when were you like, I'm tired of being, because you were behind the scenes, you were not front and center, but you happened to be someone pressing some buttons. I don't know what you was doing because I know nothing about music, but like I was like, damn, okay, who's that guy? Is he gonna like be in front and center? So when did you feel like it's time for me to transition and be front and center?
Well, funny enough, I always really had that bug, even from when I was performing in churches, right?
Yeah.
Like, because in my mind, I felt like this was my way in the back door.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Which is a lot harder than you would think.
Oh yeah.
Because people see you in a certain way and they kind of say, well, that's how I know this person. Right.
Yes.
So, but the whole time I was like, while I was recording people, I was like, yo, you should listen to my beats. Oh, you should, like the whole time.
So more consistency.
Yeah, it was, well, and just like, I got something to add to this. I'm not just the guy that's going to press record and mix your records or whatever. I'm going to shape the sound. And I always wanted to really be able to shape the sound of those records from the bottom. Right.
Yeah.
So that was it, man. It was always something that was in me. And, you know, I guess it really kind of started to be something where I felt like, because when you're in those spaces, it's almost like you have to just do what you're told to do.
For sure.
Right.
I'm sure it's
I
like
was
hard.
I was the little man on the totem pole.
Yeah.
Right. So being able to transition wasn't that easy. But once I kind of like left those places, I was like, you know, I'm just going to just go for it and do it. And that was it, you know?
Nice.
You just had to put it out.
And so now you would say you make your beats, you write your songs, you rap your raps.
Rap the raps.
It's not me, I swear.
My ghostwriter over here.
And all that. Don't start with me. I'll be like hip hop, pop, lop, top. It would be crazy. I'm telling you, karaoke.
It'd be crazy.
partner.
It'd be crazy. Son.
Who, son? Fun. Anyways,
anyone
anyone
could get it.
embrace. You're embraced.
She always goes embrace disgrace. How did I know?
Yeah, man, that's actually really cool. Like to like hear.
That's the little glimpse. I
That's
feel
just
like
a little tiny glimpse.
I feel like
of it.
we could go on for a couple more hours on
For
this.
sure.
But
you do
we'll
have,
get to it.
and you are creating this website, right?
Yeah.
For creators,
Yeah.
producers, for engineers, like to help and like.
Well, I really kind of got into a space where I'm doing a bunch of music and pre-production for people, and I'm going to put that out there. But I think that when making that, I really wanted to do something that was a little different because there is so many people that just make beats.
Right.
And I want to have it be something that's a little bit more full service because I've done so much of my own mixing, writing, producing, doing the art for the projects, doing the video aspect of it. I want to be able to put packages together that I'll help artists soup to nuts is what they say, right? Which is like the whole deal. So yeah, we're in the middle of putting that together, which I think is going to be dope. It'll be kind of the next chapter. So
cool. Before we head off, here's a question, or maybe just a little piece of advice. What would you give someone who's starting out right now? Like starting out right now, comes from a small town or comes from a family that maybe doesn't really agree on this music, the type of genre of music, or just becoming a creative out of like being in a comfortable zone, or like, what would you give that person, that boy, that girl? What type of advice would you give that person starting out right now? Like if you could tell yourself today, like if you could tell your little self.
If I could tell myself
back then,
a bunch of years ago, my best piece of advice, and this may sound cliche or it may sound like something that other people have said, but I would say the most important thing is to 100% trust your vision and don't change it for anyone. And I think that that's the biggest piece of advice. And I think that that's something that can easily be glossed over and says, oh, okay, I get it. Yeah, just trust your vision. But what I mean by that is don't water it down for what you think the audience wants. Don't water it down for what you think people that your friends or your peers or other people want to hear. Do what speaks to your soul. And that, I think that when you really do that, you'll connect with your people. And I think that I wish I really understood what that meant earlier.
Yes. Okay.
Because I wouldn't have compromised this thing or that thing or done this a certain type of way to get people that I think is in this circle to be fans of stuff, because I think that you aim your output, and I don't think that you should do that. I think that you should just be a beacon, and those people that want your message and that connect with your message will be really connected to it.
Yeah.
And really support you. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So that would be it for me.
Huh. Very cool.
So I think we went over time a little bit,
but it is what it is. I mean, it's great to kind of get to know you a little bit better, like exactly what you do and what you like, how you started from small town and was able to go to the city and create and like kind of like walk through a lot of your dream. Like some people may say like you were chasing a dream, but you were walking within your dream.
Yeah.
If you think about it, like there's not a lot of people that could say that, hey, I was in the presence of Diddy.
Right.
Hey, I was in the presence of other very famous people who are very well known in the music industry. Like that's something to be freaking proud of, and like take that shit and be like, damn, you know, like that's very cool. And now you're doing it for yourself. It's a little different, but it's something that is gonna like, it's just so rewarding. I just think that's so dope. So.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that. No,
Yeah.
and I think that, you know, now I know even more of those lessons through going through all of the motions, right?
Yeah.
There's one thing that Andre Harrell said when I was in the presence of Andre Harrell. I don't know if you know.
I have no idea who he is.
He's a huge record exec that actually put Diddy on. R.I.P. He's no longer with us. But he said, hot ain't scared of hot. When there's talent in the room and you're talented, hot only gets hotter.
Hey, I like that.
And I think that that's, you know,
that's pretty dope.
That's one piece of advice
yes.
that, you know,
yes.
to end it all.
Yes. Yes, guys.
So.
Wow. Well, that's dope. I look out for the Beat Store that's going to be dropping soon, right? And more music.
More music, yep.
Coming.
A bunch of cool music with some dope other people, you know, coming. And, you know, honestly, I want to be able to collaborate with some of the others, you know, people that are part of the Other World family and open up, you know, because my goal is to do full EPs with artists, with other artists, and have them on my production, get the art done, do some videos, and get all of that going all in-house, and, you know, put our vision out there. Yes,
that sounds dope. Well, guys, thank you for tuning in. If you're listening, thank you for listening. We are Meet the Others podcast. If you see those faces, then you know who it is. It's us, Meet the Others.
Yep. Check us out. Follow us.
Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Spotify. Boom, bam, we're there.
Boom, bam.
Boom, bam.
Until next time.
Peace. Why Meet the Others podcast? What's this about?
Why are we doing this thing?
Why are we doing this dang thing?
Who the F?
Do we even know what we're doing?
Certainly not.
Oh,
we
no.
just hooked this thing up tonight. We figured out how to use the mics, and now we're recording 10 seconds afterwards. Gives me comfort. So
I hear you.
Yeah. So anyways, Meet the Others. That's us.
Still waiting on this car to come and take me home. Things feel a little different now that we grown. Till I turn the ass, so they put my name in stone. Live how I wanna live, cause we die alone.